In this figure, we'll be looking at the anatomical basis for hypothalamic control of the anterior pituitary. If you recall, hypothalamic control of the posterior pituitary was such that hypothalamic neurons, the axons of those neurons, ran all the way down to the posterior pituitary, where they secreted the posterior pituitary neurohormones, ADH and oxytocin. Control of the anterior pituitary has a much more vascular basis and is shown here, right? So we again have our input from other brain regions in the blood, including hormonal feedback that's going to modify the output, the secretion of our hypothalamic neurons here located in this nucleus. Now, so the cell bodies are found here, but those stimuli will result in action potentials and release of the neurohormones, these hypothalamic neurohormones, into or onto this capillary bed down here. So those hypothalamic hormones will diffuse into this first capillary bed found here, right? And then travel through what's called a portal vessel, right? So a portal system is always when we have two capillary beds in series connected by what are called portal vessels. So in this case, we're going to call it the hypothalamo, telling us the starting point, the hypothalamus, hypophyseal, the ending point, the hypophysis or the pituitary, portal vessels, right? And so our hypothalamic hormones are traveling down here to the anterior pituitary. Here, they will diffuse out of the capillary randomly and potentially bind receptors on the endocrine cells found here. These endocrine cells will respond to those hypothalamic hormones to modify their secretions, which of course can then diffuse back into, shown by this arrow, back into this same capillary bed. This means those hormones, those anterior pituitary hormones, are going off into the general circulation to stimulate functions directly, or sometimes they're tropic hormones, which means that they actually stimulate the secretion of a secondary endocrine structure or a gland. Now, one of the things to point out is that there are a whole variety of hypothalamic neurohormones here, releasing and inhibiting hormones. And the reason for that is there are a whole variety of endocrine cells in the anterior pituitary here. They secrete an array of different products regulating functions as widely disparate as metabolism, growth, reproduction, response to stress, milk production in females, among other things. So there's quite a variety of functions controlled by the anterior pituitary gland, and that does lend itself to this idea that the pituitary gland, along with the hypothalamic control, was once considered the master gland because it controlled so many other things.